Hi everybody. Today I want to talk to you about what I've been thinking about. The father of medicine said, let food be thy medicine. And that's not happening. Medicines are drugs and chemicals and with serious side effects that create other illnesses. So, if we start really simply and get back to food as our medicine, and I'm just thinking about simple dishes. Today, I'm making a millet quinoa dish, which is just finished here. It looks beautiful because I've used both red and white quinoa. Right now, I'm just going to put in the fresh basil. I had fresh basil. Normally, I would add dry basil for this particular dish, but I had some fresh, so I said, I'm going to use it up. And the basil, you'll have the recipe in the description. The basil is, and the parsley, the Italian parsley, is put in at the very end. Okay, so it's just going to cook from the heat of the grains that are cooked here. So when I think about, let me mix this up a bit. I like it. You want to mix it up really well so everything that's in here gets blended well together. Oh my, it's going to be so nice. That's my supper. So, please just leave that off the heat. So what I have in here is the quinoa. The quinoa, we have either the red quinoa or the white quinoa. These three grains are all nicely round. So, quinoa is originally from the Andes, and it strengthens every organ in your body. It has, and whichever one you want. This is a little bit more expensive. I mix them because I wanted to play with colors. It strengthens every organ of the body, especially the kidneys. It has more calcium than milk. It's the grain with the most protein in it, and it's also the grain with the most amount of fat in it. So it's very, very strengthening. And, wintertime, it's a nice grain to add. So I'm doing half quinoa and half millet. So now millet is a yellow grain, and it's round also. Now millet is so good for your spleen, pancreas, and stomach. It's very alkalining, which I've talked a little bit about acid and alkaline. We want our bodies to be alkaline. When our bodies are too acid, that's where disease comes from. So millet's full of B vitamins. It's one of my favorite grains. Cooks fast. This all cooks in 30 minutes, everything together. So it's really, really nice. So these are medicines. I guess that's what I'm trying to get at here. These are food as medicine, okay? What went in here also was some red pepper. You just cut your red pepper in half and then take out the inside part. Just take out that inside part. Get rid of all that. And then you would just slice it, long slices, then dice that and put it in. Beautiful. Now, asparagus. This is a big one that's in here. Asparagus, this is the strongest plant for supporting your adrenals. Your adrenals sit just above your kidneys, and they get blown out with stress, okay? I mean, everybody needs adrenal support. This is the vegetable that is the most adrenal supporting. So when you look at asparagus, it's very anti-aging, by the way. Well, it makes sense because if your adrenals are supported, you're going to be less stressed out, so you're not going to age as much. Originally, if this was allowed to keep growing, it would grow into a small tree. So that's the type of energy it's giving you, okay? And when you're using asparagus, look for breaking off the hardest part. Like, I just feel it, and then I know where it snaps. It's going to snap where it's supposed to snap. You start from the bottom and wait until where it snaps easy, and you chuck the woodier part of it. You don't use, you compost that. So I just wanted you to know that about asparagus. It is anti-aging, supportive. It's just, if you were to do like a spring cleanse, for example, one of the things to do for a spring cleanse would be choose the month, either April or May, and have a whole bunch of asparagus every day. That's quite something, okay? But that's one of the possible spring cleanses, just so you know. Anti-aging, we all love that. So I made up a meal of this, and at the end, and then there's the herbs. Herbs are medicinal, and the Italian parsley. You can use the curly, but I use the Italian parsley because it's alkalining. It's so alkalining that it's really supportive against any form of cancer. And it's also an adrenal booster. So as you can see, these are all supporting the body in a healthy way. And it's easy to make. I mean, the quinoa I soaked for about 2 hours. You don't have to do that. You could probably do it for an hour, but the quinoa can have a little bit of a bitter taste, and that takes it, by soaking it takes it out. And I rinsed it then. And I also you always rinse your grains, except of course for rolled oats, something like that. That's just the one thing to know about. And so I'm getting a meal together, right? And oh yeah, I'll show you. I have leafy greens to go with this meal. Because I wanted to add another vegetable, I took both collards, these beautiful collards, love favorites, and lacinato kale or elephant kale. So what I did is I took half and half of what I thought, I'd eat, and then I sliced them through. I roll them up like a scar. Then I slice them thinly through, and I steam them for like 3 minutes. And so now, instead of getting one vegetable, I just took a couple of stems of each one, and that's the way I had 2 sorts of leafy greens. It's just an idea to, if you haven't had many vegetables during a day, take a couple of leafy greens and steam them for 2 to 3 minutes, or boil them for 2 to 3 minutes to get your greens into you. All right. Right now on my plate, I have the combination of the greens. I've been, by the way, eating with chopsticks for at least 40 years. So to me, it's just natural. It slows you down when you're eating, which is really good, because we should eat slower and chew better and longer. So I have my collards and kale right here. And then I have a nice red cabbage sauerkraut, or a kimchi. Kimchi's great, or get a couple of good tablespoons on your plate. And then I will put this wonderful, look at it steaming, I love that, on my dish, and oh, that's gonna be so good. And then what I do, you can, I usually have gamasio. Gamasio is a combination of sesame seeds and sea salt. So that that's going to be big in calcium also for you. This one has some sea vegetable, I call them sea vegetable, not seaweeds, in it, dulse, kombu, and nori. So you're getting, this is, even this in this, it's all starting place. You're getting some sea vegetables in you, which are your minerals. I use that to, on my grain, okay? Just instead of like salt and pepper, this is what I'd use, all right? And now for my greens, if I want to put something on my greens, salads and greens, the big, they're good for you, but when you pile on a dressing of dairy, now you've ruined it, basically. You've ruined your salad because the calories have skyrocketed. So I use you can use either like a Bragg's, very simple, this one's just, apple cider vinegar and I think some olive oil. It's very, very simple. Don't need to refrigerate it. I like that. So I can either put a little bit of that on the greens, or umeboshi plum vinegar is a really nice little bit of that on. Don't go wild. You don't need a lot. Just to, if you want a little bit of seasoning. And then it's ready to eat. So the whole, you know, if we could just start slowly, you could have this for breakfast. You could have this for supper. You could have this for lunch. You know, it's really, this is let food be thy medicine, is I guess what I'm putting out. It's just like my burdock soup video. You know, burdock is so healing, you know, 50 times more grounding than any other vegetable. So, you know, shop for your vegetables and see, you know, the best stores are the ones that have the most variety of great vegetables. And I love standing in a good produce section with organic vegetables. Asparagus, if you've never, I didn't grow up being a big asparagus eater, and I just love it now. Just love it. I'll steam it, I'll boil it. And this, I always have a dish where it's just included in it. And you could also, like if you're making a green drink, you could take like one of the spears at least and just add it to your green drink, you know, because it's so boosting to your adrenals. And stress, and we are in a high fear stress time, wipes out your adrenals, and it's really important. So think about asparagus, and this is a nice one. You know, this is these three I have. Well, I mean, I have a whole bunch in my fridge, but you know, that size is a really nice size. You might a lot see the real thin ones, the bunches of really thin ones. Get them anyway if that's all you can getting. But when you see these, yeah, you get these for sure. They're wonderful. I hope you'll consider trying this. It's so very easy. You know, don't be intimidated if you've never tried any of these before. I have, a couple of years ago, some longer videos on quinoa and millet, but I was just trying to make a short one so that you would try this. It's delicious, and start to introduce, if you haven't tried these things before, start to introduce, because this is food that is medicine for sure. I mean, this is a powerful medicinal pot of grain and vegetables. I so appreciate your support, subscribing to my channel. The questions, I get to them slowly. I do get and answer the questions, liking it, and I just try and keep thinking of ideas how to get everybody eating that in a way that benefits your health and well-being. So thank you so much.